Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Wednesday, the 2nd of March 2016, and we're briefly mentioning former Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan's interview yesterday with Tom Keene and Mike McKee, as published on Bloomberg Business, sharing his concerns and thoughts on China and the US economy. In an exclusive interview at his office in Washington, D.C., the former Fed chairman discussed yesterday the slowdown in China, his views on Dodd Frank Regulation, and his lack of optimism for the US economy. This is what he had to say.
The big problem is basically China itself. That is, it is slowing down its rate of growth quite dramatically, and as everyone who looks at the data will tell you, we're not quite sure which data are real and which are not. I do think that the 7 to 7.5% annual rate of growth is unachievable. I think that what is happening is that as China's productivity edges ever closer to the level that exists in the United States, the gap closes, and the ability to close the gap is more and more difficult, which means that you're going to get a convergence between productivity in the United States and productivity in China much more closely. And that means it's going to be a big slowdown in China.
Is part of that convergence a currency not war, but a renminbi devaluation or depreciation, which leads us to a dollar like the late 90s so-called Rubin dollar, or like a Plaza Accord dollar strength?
This is where the issues lie. I don't know the answer to that, and I do say the United States, unquestionably, U.S. dollar unquestionably is the firmest currency in the world of the major countries. It's hard to see where it goes from here. I mean, there are so many huge unknowns, which, in my experience, I've never seen this many unknowns.
Is there a real problem that we can put our finger on with Dodd Frank right now, or is it also an unknown?
The regulations are supposed to be making changes, addressing the problems that existed in 2008 or leading up to 2008. It's not doing that. The too big to fail has been the critical issue back then and now. And there's nothing in Dodd Frank and any of these changes that they've made which actually addresses this issue.
Are you optimistic going forward here?
No. I haven't been for quite a while. And I won't be until we can resolve the entitlement programs. Nobody wants to touch it. But it's gradually crowding out capital investment. And that's crowding out productivity. And that's crowding out the standards of living. Where do you want me to go from there?
In essence, he is concerned. He is worried about China and seriously questions its growth prospects and feels that there will be a considerable slowdown as productivity in China and the US converges. He questions Dodd Frank Regulation, and without spending time on this here, it basically addresses the financial regulatory environment that affects all federal financial regulatory agencies. Reform required to address the 2008 economic collapse and, importantly, the too big to fail issue. He expresses some deep-rooted concerns over the US economy, but admits that although he doesn't know quite which way the dollar is heading, it is and remains one of the firmest out of all of the world's major currencies. In his experience, he has never seen so many unknowns. He is not optimistic, as he believes that until entitlement and welfare programs are addressed, investment in the economy will be hampered. Our take on this supports to a large extent what we have been saying. China's progress is critical. Global economic slowdown is underway, and the dollar will remain the prettiest of an ugly bunch of currencies. So for the time being, ignore or take with a pinch of salt those calling for or announcing the immediate collapse of the dollar, and gear your investments and saving decisions in anticipation of a potential world economic slowdown, reduced or negative interest rates, and a turbulent road ahead for investors in traditional equity markets. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumb up and share it on Twitter. Also, kindly visit our website at www.illuminatisilver.com and look at our Facebook page, which is updated daily at www.facebook.com/Illuminati-Silver. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.